Hello, salam alaikum.
Hi, how you doing? I've got some good news to share with you.
Go on, tell me.
I just got my visa for France. As soon as I get there, I'll come to see you. Or rather, I'll give you my address and you can come to me. It'll be my turn when I know the area a bit better.
Yes, of course.
Haroon is 25. He spent 4 years as a translator for the French army. After a year-long process, he just received protection from France. He'll make the move in the coming days.
I'll always remember my time working with the soldiers. The memories will stay with me.
Haroon came under fire one day when he accompanied a convoy delivering supplies to a French base.
For a minute there, I thought we were dead, because the insurgents were in a precise position on the mountain, and we were at the bottom. It was really dangerous, and everyone was shouting, which scared me a bit. Thankfully, we retaliated, we accelerated as we continued the journey, and the Afghan army came to help us, and after that it was all okay. Otherwise, we would have been dead.
But the conflict didn't stop when the French forces left in 2014. The Taliban rebellion continues, and Haroon is labelled a traitor.
I'm proud to have helped the French military. My responsibility was to work, to help, to cooperate with the French soldiers, NATO, and everything else. I'm proud and I don't regret it.
But there's a price to pay. Haroon now has to flee. Before leaving, he celebrates Eid with his family.
Next Eid, I'll be in France.
Oh, that's right.
I'll call you on Skype.
It's become too dangerous for our dear Haroon to stay here. We're happy he's going to France because he'll be able to live in peace. May God watch over you.
I don't have any other choice. My life is at risk. If Afghanistan returns to peace one day, I'll be able to come back to help rebuild it. But I don't know when that will be.
Today, Haroon is leaving his family and Afghanistan for the first time. He's heading to France, where a new life awaits him. But across town, Najib is not as lucky. He was working for Omid FM Radio Hope, which was set up by the French army in the conflict-torn Kapisa province. Threatened a number of times by the Taliban, he lives a reclusive life with his wife and 2 children in the Afghan capital. He says he feels like a prisoner in Kabul and moves around as discreetly as possible.
They tell us, you're all disloyal, and if we find you and capture you, we'll kill you. We'll either decapitate you or burn you alive. They call the radio station and tell us that they knew our voices and faces, that they knew where to find us, that we'd never escape them.
Najib is far from being the only one in this situation. Of 300 former interpreters who approached the French embassy in 2015, only 100 have been able to leave with their families. Others have had their residency visa requests rejected by France. Najib meets his former French interpreter friends in a house in a highly secure area of the Afghan capital. They too feel threatened. They feel wronged.
We want to speak out against this rejection. to have the reasons for it explained to us. What were the criteria? What did those who've left have that we don't? It's unfair. We went on missions, to village meetings. We were side by side with the French forces, and we're clearly identified as such now.
That comes from the website of the French Ministry of Defence. I'm there in the photo. It's written that I was on the mission in Tagab, in Kapisa province, and there are several letters of congratulation from officials.
We feel like the French forces left some of their troops here. They told us we were fully fledged members of the French army. It's not fair that they left behind some of their forces.
In France, a group of lawyers is taking legal action to help Najib and his former colleagues. They are waiting patiently, hoping the situation will work out in their favour and they'll be able to get visas. Many Afghans worked with and supported the international forces. Their presence also provided a windfall in one of the poorest countries in the world.
If you want to live in Kabul, have a good life and live an average life, so you have to have a good work. And good work with good income is mostly possible with the foreigners and an international community.
Mati works at the Institut Français. He narrowly escaped death in a suicide bombing, which killed 2 people and wounded 15 in December 2014. Yet he doesn't want to lose hope.
So if we tell ourselves that today there was an attack and tomorrow there will be another one, so we have to leave the city or leave the country. So we can't do that because we need to work in our country. I think that as an Afghan, I have to be committed, I have to continue to work and be optimist for the future.
Despite Mati's optimism, the country has seen an upsurge in violence since international forces began withdrawing in 2014. Just days after we met him, more than 80 people were killed and 230 injured in an attack on a peaceful protest in Kabul. ISIL claimed responsibility. Last year, more than 11,000 civilians were killed or wounded in Afghanistan. The peace and stability that was to be the result of the 13-year presence of the international coalition still seems a long way off.